Hello everyone, tonight I'm going to talk about one of the most famous companies around the world and answering all these questions into this untimely test. So let's start. The company which I'm going to share with you is Unilever company. So let's start with the first question. Why they decide to go international? Well, Unilever before became Unilever was uh, was called in another names like Lever Brothers, and behind it in other names with another associates, in other alliances, and in other products. So they started by 1890 when before they called Unilever company, and they started with a butter product, the raw material. So they decide to do a research about this product and how they could improve this product or even get more new products from this raw material. So was when they finally found these nutritional foods, luxury shampoos, soup, soap, and all the products we right now could imagine with the Unilever label. So finally, in 1930, they go to design international, most specifically to Latin America. But before that, they already were into the European zone, such as Germany, France, Italy, Netherlands, and around all the United Kingdom. So when I'm going to talk about when they decide to go in Latin America. So I think they decide to go through this market. It was because they were confident about why they have committed in European consumers in at the time. So I think they have the structure, the infrastructure, the incomes, and all the implements necessary to get into a new market, such as the Latin American market. And how they start their international activities? The as I said, they start to sell their products in around the European south, such as Germany, Italy, France, and the national sector into the United Kingdom. So when they start, the way they started was just showing this the discovery about the how many products they were able to get from the raw material that was the bottle, the butter. So I think they started to share the advantages and all these luxuries and necessary products to the people, to the consumers. What barriers do they face when they decided to go international? At that time, I think they faced the cultural barrier. Um, it was a completely culture uh, compared with European culture. So I think this could be a big barrier for them. And another one was the marketers, the competitors. They already have the Nestle company and another ones, but the strongest at the time in Latin America was Nestle too. What strengths and opportunities they took advantage of to enter in a different market? I think their magnificent portfolio. I mean, they have so many products to offer them. New products, luxuries, shampoos, nutritional foods, all these things coming from Europe, so it was really attractive for the Latin American consumers to buy a European product. So was that's I think was the most strength and the best opportunity they had to buy to get in contact in an easy way with these new consumers. Do they consider cultural factors when studying new markets? Yes, I think they consider absolutely these factors because personally I had one experience when I'm traveling abroad. You see these same brands that you know in your country, but you see in this new country. But when you taste it, it's completely different flavor. So I think sometimes even their logos, their presentation of the product is completely different because they consider a lot of cultural factors involved into them. So yeah, absolutely they consider these cultural factors when they study the new market. And do they have to adapt their products to the market? Yes. As I said, these products you could find, you're able to find in different countries. Actually, tasting is completely different. Their taste is completely different, and that's when you realize sometimes of preference, the consumer preference are completely different in between countries. So some people like sweeter or less sweet and saltier or less more salt, less salt. Uh, yes, even some luxurious or hygiene products has different reactions with the water when you shower. When you take a shower, these products usually uh, have a different reaction into this water. So all depends on the chemical factors, the the basic resources you have into your house, the water, uh, the preference about the food is getting saltier or sweeter. So yeah, I think they already did research and studies about this preference because the shocking what they found is completely different taste they have ever been through is quite risky. Which country they decide to conquer first? Initially, they conquer all these zone about Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, and France, and their priority market was into the United Kingdom at the time. But after all this, in the 1930, they conquer the Latin American market. Which entry strategy to choose to follow? Most of the time, they try to follow a sustainable strategy because they have a lot of responsibility about the products, about the packages they use to involve all these items. And yeah, this I think this one of the strategy to choose is where the best way to give a sustainable living around the brands. And do they evidence some risks and the new markets? Yeah. Even sometimes when they try to get in through into a new market, into a new country, they realize sometimes they are running of the raw material they needed. So sometimes they need to think about how they can then can obtain these products, this raw material to, to build, to fabricate the products with that they are trying to sell to the people, to the consumers, to customers. What kind of companies they identify? Um, well, about the competitiveness and talking about competition, I think they already identify the Nestle company is one of the most famous and strong companies talking and doing uh, the same business or the same kind of services that Unilever produced you and serviced you, offered you. What difficulties they encounter? They know and they realize they have a lot of responsibility about the carbon footprint around the world. They contribute around 68% of this carbon footprint, and that's when they are working on this situation about this uh, problem, trying to figure out how to get down this percentage, because it is too much by the contribution of the harm of the environment around the world. I mean, they are a global market and they have a huge responsibility about how to figure out this and how to get it down these values and improve a better solutions, a better ways to offer these items without harm into the environment. What value offer they rely on to be successful in the market? I think they're really focused in teaching around the world, creating schools, creating alliances. They give you expertise, give you some learnings about this business, about this their mission, their vision, their objectives, their social goals, the all these objectives at the future they wanted to get it, they want to achieve. That's, I think, when this is the value of it they rely. What kind of agreements or partnership they develop? They have developed a lot of alliances, a lot of agreements and partnerships around the world, but one of them is some kind of schools or some kind of companies who which the principal objective is try to teach or try just to get in a better life to the people. Currently, what kind of entry studies are following? Their studies right now are mostly focused in how to improve the environment, how making sustainable living commonplace. That's what I say. They already know the responsibility they have about their products they sell, um, because there are a lot of participation of the carbon footprint around the world, and they need to focus all this strategy to show us they are really trying to get this value down and try to get in better life qualities with these products, which are really qualified and nutritionals and quite useful for us. And that's all for tonight. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoy the explanation about this Unilever company and the answers that I gave you tonight. Thank you so much.